electricity will make it weird science.
Weird science. This morning, Imagination Station's Chief Scientist Carl Nelson is here, and he's going to show us some Halloween science experiments. And I've got my glove on because we're doing some dry ice stuff this morning.
Exactly. We've got our safety glasses on and our gloves.
Yes. Oh, let me explain that, because I look terrible in glasses. I look like a bug.
Okay, so Halloween is the time of year when you start to see dry ice showing up a lot. I'm going to pass you the tongs here.
Okay.
And the reason you're using the tongs and the gloves is because dry ice is 109 degrees below zero.
That's incredible.
Don't want to touch it with your hands. You would get frostbite. But this time of year, everybody wants it to make that spooky fog effect,
Sure.
right? So go ahead and grab a piece of dry ice from our tray here and drop it into the first cylinder. It's just some warm water.
Why does it make that noise? Sounds like a lobster.
It does. It screams a little bit with the metal there. But go ahead and drop that in. Cool thing about dry ice is that it changes directly from a solid into a gas. It never gets to the liquid phase. That's why it's called dry ice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got carbon dioxide gas sublimating off. We've got some nice warm fog up here from moisture in the air. And the carbon dioxide gas, which is heavier than air, falls down. Now, you were asking what was that screaming sound?
Yes.
That's cool. 50 pounds of dry ice here, right? If you take a big coin and stick it on the top and press it down. Now, I'm not going to touch the dry ice, but just press the coin down. You hear that screaming sound. That's because the dry ice is quickly turning into a gas and squeaking past the coin. The other thing you can do, which is kind of fun, is put a coin in a little slot in the dry ice, and as the dry ice sublimates, it causes the coin to vibrate back and forth. Okay, it's the shivering dollar.
That's cool.
Give you a sense of how cold the dry ice actually is. The Canadian coin, of course, is not vibrating because they're used to that apparently.
Yeah, they're used to the cold up there. Okay.
So
over there.
The other neat thing about dry ice, you see all these bubbles coming off? Some of that gas is actually dissolving in the water. And it's creating something called carbonic acid. If you could use your tongs and pick up a couple tiny little pieces.
Tiny pieces,
and go ahead and put it in my flask here. See if we can
Will that one fit?
We'll shove it right down in there. Let's see if it gets in there.
Let me get a smaller one? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's good. Here, let me grab this one here.
All right.
So what we want to do is just build up some of that carbonic acid in the water. And I'm going to have you actually sample some of that carbonic acid. If you could just like open your mouth and stick your tongue out.
Really?
You just do it. It'll be fine. What does that taste like? Does it have any sort of like a bite to it? Acidity, maybe?
Can I do it again?
Sure. Tastes like a little Sprite, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
you had to prompt me, but yes. Now that you've said
it's a little bit hard to do that, but with just tasting it to detect the acid. But this container, grab your tongs. We're going to grab another big chunk and drop it in this cylinder. Has an acid-base indicator in it, which means you're going. Oh, that might be too big.
Okay.
I think you're going crazy on me there. Get one of those. That's perfect.
Right.
Acid-base indicator. It's purple now, indicating an alkaline solution.
Yeah.
But as that carbon dioxide turns into carbonic acid, we build up an acidic solution, and it turns a bright orange, which I think is really cool for Halloween.
That's great.
Now, come on down here. The really cool thing you can do at home with dry ice, following all the safety procedures, of course. But if you get a big container of water and just drop in a hunk of ice, you start to develop some fog. Okay, I'm going to drop that down into a cauldron, which is just empty. There's nothing in here.
You get those at the Halloween store.
You get them all this time of year. I'm going to put a big flashlight inside. Drop that down inside. Now we've got the makings of like a witch's cauldron. And to do this, strips of cloth that are soaked in bubble solution. Now remember how that the dry ice is sublimating and turning into a gas?
Yeah.
Grab another chunk of dry ice and throw it in there.
I'm
We need a
liking
lot
this.
of gas for this.
Just throw it in or throw it in
Just toss it right in. Toss it right into the container of, perfect. Now what I'm going to try to do is with this soapy solution and this cloth is make a nice bubble film over the top of the cauldron here. And we can trap some of that gas inside. And as the carbon dioxide gas builds up, we should begin to see, my cauldron's not cooperating with me, we should be able to see that bubble lift up and fill with some of that fog and that moisture that's inside, which is really pretty cool. And you could do this with a pumpkin if you don't have a cauldron. You could use one of these cheap plastic cauldrons. The cool thing though is how big the bubble can get. And when it does break, you're gonna see the gas go which direction? What do you think?
Up?
Up or down?
Oh, down.
Yeah, the CO2 is heavier than
See,
air.
I failed science.
No, that's okay. Come on over. Give it a gentle touch with your glove, which is dry, and we're gonna. Now that's the cool effect. Can you imagine doing that on the steps of your house? So the kids come around for Halloween.
Neat.
Really cool stuff, and it's totally safe to do. You could do it in a smaller container, a bigger container. Neat thing though. I'm gonna take your glove away from you. Get this hand wet with the soapy solution. If your hand, stick your
Whole hand?
We'll wash your
Okay.
hand afterwards.
Okay.
If your hand is wet, you should be able to magically, almost like, or scientifically, stick your hand right through that bubble without it bursting. Wow. Check that out. Now, eventually, you're going to get to the part where your hand is dry, and it's going to burst.
Oh, man.
Right? So dry ice has lots of really cool science in it. Everything from
so
low temperatures
great.
to carbonic acid to making bubble films. Cool stuff you can do for Halloween.
That's great. Tell us where the Imagination Station is.
We're in downtown Toledo, Ohio. Come on down. We have, in the entire month of October, we are doing this kind of stuff. Spooky science.
This is great.
Dry ice, pumpkins, all sorts of interesting stuff.
And what's the best age range?
You know, we're good for all ages, but our primary audience is kindergarten through 6th, but adults have a lot of fun as well.
Rick, our audio guy, just said my age. This is fascinating. Thanks. I really appreciate you coming in
Sure,
and showing
thanks
us.
for having us.
And you're going to be in for a second segment, too.
We are. We have the self-carving pumpkin coming up.
Self-carving pumpkin. Can't wait for that. Okay, we'll be right back. Thank you.